All right, this weekend, it is potentially one of the greatest pay-per-view fight cards of the year. UFC 322, going down in New York, Madison Square Garden. It is always a fabulous fight card from top to bottom, and this one is no different. This might be one of the very best fight cards of the year. Of course, 2 title fights in the main event at the top of the bill, but all the way down on the early prelims, we've got tremendous fights all the way through. Kyle Douglas versus Gerald Meerschaert. We've got Pat Sabatini taking on Chepe Mariscal. That's going to be a banger. Erin Blanchfield, who was a main event against Manon Fiorot not too long ago, taking on Tracy Cortez. Roman Kopylov versus the RoboCop. That are alive.
You're coming with me.
Gregory Rodriguez. That's going to be a banger. And of course, top of the bill on the prelims, Bo Nickel taking on Rodolfo Vieira. Now, Bo Nickel, as we know, is an incredible wrestler. And Rodolfo Vieira has got ridiculous jiu-jitsu. The man was a multiple-time jiu-jitsu world champion. Bo Nickel last time out got stopped against Renier de Ridder. It was a beautiful knee to the stomach in the second round. Can he get back to winning ways after taking the first loss? His record in MMA is only 7-1. So he's only had 8 fights. And Rodolfo Vieira, a man that has shown in the past that he often gets tired. He can strike a little bit, but he likes to get people down on the ground and go to work with the jiu-jitsu. 11 wins, only 1 knockout, 9 by way of submission. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think Vieira will be taking down Bo Nickel anytime soon. And I do think that Bo Nickel will do enough to get the job done. Rodolfo Vieira's a big guy, though. He might swing, he might connect, he might crack Bo Nickel and send him down. Anyway, there's a little sprinkle of what's going on the prelims. Let's get to it. Let's talk about this main card because it's phenomenal. And we've got great fights from top to bottom. Opening up the main card, Beneil Dariush, 36 years old, taking on Benoît Saint Denis. Now, Beneil Dariush, a lot of people, because as I say, he is 36 years old, they've kind of forgotten about him in the title picture. After all, when you look at the UFC rankings, the man's the 9th ranked lightweight on the planet. Of course, we know lightweight is stacked. Last time out, had a really good win over Renato Moicano, but before that, he lost 2 in a row. This is where some fans might have jumped off the bandwagon. He got stopped by Arman Tsarukyan in just a minute. Before that, he got knocked out by Charles Oliveira, also in the first round. But you got to remember, before that, he was on an 8-fight win streak, beating the likes of Mateusz Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, Carlos Diego Ferreira. Granted, when he stepped up against Charles and Arman, he didn't pass the test. But he did pass the test when it came to Renato Moicano. And the relevance of that fight is you might remember what he did to Benoît Saint Denis. Renato Moicano went out there and just butchered Benoît Saint Denis in the first round. And of course, got a stoppage in the second round in his hometown of Paris. So what happens in this fight? Well, listen, we know that Benoît Saint Denis also beat Kyle Prepolek and he put a beat down on Maurizio Hufi. He was the only person to beat him, the first person to beat him. And that was a bad night for the fighting nerds. And a lot of people came out the woodwork and started talking all kinds of shit about the fighting nerds. Listen, Hufi's a good fighter, but he was kind of a one-trick pony. Benoit took him down and he choked him out in the second round, got him with a good old-fashioned face crank. I don't think he's going to have that kind of grappling ability or advantage against Beneil Dariush. Dariush has got the experience. I think that's going to play a massive factor in this fight. I think in jiu-jitsu-wise, grappling-wise, he can handle Benoît Saint Denis. Of course, Benoit's got powerful punches. He is a little bit reckless. He's got that fire in his eye. Remember, he was in the French Special Forces. The man has taken people out in battle, okay? So never underestimate him. But I have Beneil Dariush winning that fight by way of decision. Moving on, welterweight division. The pressure is on for Leon Rocky Edwards. Now, Leon was the champ. He was flying high and he lost 2 in a row. No shame in that. He lost to Bilal Muhammad, lost the belt, and then got choked out against Sean Brady. And the beginning of the end came when he shot a takedown on Sean Brady because the man can grapple. And I do believe in this fight, we're going to see Leon Edwards use the grappling. Remember, Leon's a kickboxer, knocked out Kamaru Usman, headshot dead, shot to fame, second champion to come from the United Kingdom. However, Carlos Prates on the flip side, this man is a monster. He's a maniac. He is a knockout artist, simple as that. 22 wins, 17 knockouts, 3 submissions. Only 2 submissions in his career. And every single fight that he's had in the UFC under the Zuffa banner, whether it's Contender or the UFC, whether it's a fight night or a pay-per-view, he's knocking people out. Li Jingliang, Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, Charles Radke, Chervin Giles, Mitch Ramirez on the Contender. Took them all out in either the first or the second round. The only time he did them was when he went up against Ian Machado Gary. 5-round affair, didn't bother him that he's smoking cigarettes all day long.
What does a
post-knockout cigarette feel like?
Feel amazing.
Smelling like cigarettes up here. Smells like.
Who's smoking in there?
Give you 3 guesses who just left.
The man likes to drink, he likes to smoke cigarettes, he likes to have fun. That's why he goes forward and swings recklessly and doesn't care, right? He's not like Leon Edwards that has all this pressure on his shoulders. He's not worried about becoming the champion again. He's worried about having a good time, and that makes him dangerous. Leon Edwards has a tendency to start slow in fights. And I know we spoke about it this week, saying that he's going to come out of there like a bat out of hell. He's going to go at Carlos Prates. He's only got 3 rounds, and you can't afford to drop a single round in a 3-round affair. But I think the fact that he has fought 5 rounds, I think the fact that he has fought a lot of wrestlers is going to slow down the output. When you look at Leon, of course, he did knock out Kamaru Usman. But when you look at the record, he's not exactly a knockout artist. And I say that with respect. He's a technical striker. He's very pinpoint. He's got sniper precision. 22 wins, only 7 knockouts. And the one that stands out, as we know, is that one of Kamaru Usman. Lost to Bilal, lost to Sean Brady. I do think that Carlos Prates is going to go out there. He's going to be the busier guy from the opening bell. I think he's going to fight with a lot less pressure. He's going to be a lot more freer. He's going to go out there, try and put on a show. And I think he gets the job done against Leon Edwards. And sadly, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets the stoppage. I can't lie, just because Leon's from the UK. That's what I feel happens. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope Leon gets back to winning ways. But I think Carlos Prates, the man's on fire right now. Then we move on. Sean Brady taking on Michael Morales. Michael Morales, 18-0, 13 by way of knockout. So you think of him as a knockout artist, okay? And he is. He's big for the welterweight division. The man's massive. He hasn't got an ounce of fat on his body. But he grew up, he lived, his parents were judokas. His mom went to the Beijing Olympics in judo. He's done Greco-Roman wrestling and judo his entire life. So if Sean Brady thinks it's going to be really easy to take him down, he might be in for a rude awakening. However, I do think Sean Brady is by far the better grappler. Look at what he did to Leon Edwards. He didn't just choke him out in the 4th round. He dominated with grappling the whole time. I think Morales will have some success. Every single round starts on the feet, and that's favorable for Morales. He's much taller, he's longer, and he's got better striking. It's just as simple as that. However, grapplers do very well in mixed martial arts, as we know, and I think he gets Michael Morales down, and I think he wins via submission. Now that takes us on to the co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko taking on Zhang Weili. These ladies are incredible. They really are. I'm a massive fan of both of them. Zhang Weili's had a tremendous career in the UFC, and the only lady to beat her has been Rose Namajunas. Remember, caught with that flash knockout, the head kick, and then beat her via way of decision. Then goes on an absolute tear, knocks out Joanna Jędrzejczyk with a beautiful spinning back elbow in Singapore, takes out Amanda Lemos, Yan Xiaonan, Tatiana Suarez, and she's defended the strawweight title 3 times. She's been there, done it. She's got the t-shirt. She's moving up to flyweight because she wants a bigger challenge, and I respect that so much. However, when you look at Shevchenko, here's a lady that is beating everybody. Now, when you look at Valentina Shevchenko, yes, the only person to beat her at bantamweight was Amanda Nunes, the Lioness, potentially the greatest female fighter of all time. Then at strawweight, of course, there was that one loss to Alexa Grasso. Then she had a draw. Then she wins the rubber match, okay? She got the job done. She took out Manon Fiorot over 5 rounds, 25 wins, 8 knockouts, 7 submissions. And these days, she's grappling people. She's taking people down. If Zhang Weili can't take it down, this will play out on the feet. And I just think that Shevchenko is the better striker. She's more polished. She's got more experience. Zhang Weili will make it tough, though. She's not going to go away without a fight. She will get some takedowns. She will land some shots on the feet. And she's got the momentum and the power and the weight of China behind her, okay? They want Zhang Weili to do well, and she doesn't take that lightly. I was just out in Bangtao, Thailand, teaching a seminar in the summer. Who did I see there? Zhang Weili polishing up her striking. She's at a lot of events. She's absolutely loved and revered by the people of China. She's a massive global superstar. But I got to go with the champ. I got to go with Valentina Shevchenko. The Bullet once again gets it done and has another successful title defense. Moving on. It's a hell of a fight card. It really is. And this main event is incredible. Della Maddalena on an 18-fight win streak taking on Islam Makhachev, a man that only has 1 loss on his record. He got caught by Adriano Martins at the start of his UFC run. His record is 27 wins, 1 loss, 5 knockouts, 13 submissions. The man can strike. Remember, this is billed as a striker versus a grappler or a boxer versus a wrestler. But the man's got submissions and he's got knockouts. Look at what he did to Alexander Volkanovski. Knocked him out with a beautiful head kick. And no one's knocking out Alexander Volkanovski. And he came back after getting knocked out against Topuria and beat Diego Lopez to become the champion again. And the man's flying high. He's a future Hall of Famer. What I'm saying is, Islam Makhachev can strike. He had moments as well against Dustin Poirier, who's one of the best strikers that the lightweight division had in recent memory. So I don't think that even if it's on the feet, it's going to be easy for Jack Della Maddalena. But when you look at the form that Islam Makhachev is on, last time beat Renato Moicano, did it very easily in the first round. Dustin Poirier took him to the 5th round but got the finish. Before that, knocked out Volkanovski with that beautiful head kick. And prior to that, had a really close fight with Alexander Volkanovski. Again, don't let that fool you. Volkanovski is a tremendously talented fighter that was the pound-for-pound number 1 at one point. Remember that. However, Jack did just beat Belal Muhammad, and that's the perfect warm-up fight. I've said this many times, okay, because Belal could be bigger. He might be stronger, but he's not Islam Makhachev. It's a good warm-up. He's got beautiful boxing, probably the best in the UFC. He's got excellent footwork. He's got Craig Jones helping him out in the corner. He's got Alexander Volkanovski flying down to help him out and give him some tips and tricks and secrets of the fights that Volkanovski had with Islam. However, will it be enough? We got to remember, Islam Makhachev was bred for this ever since he was a little boy. There's just something different about him, about his team, about Habib, about Eagle MMA, about Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, the lineage, the heritage, and just the kind of fighting spirit that these men have. Islam Makhachev has been bred for this moment, and he's been in these kind of big moments before. Remember, this is a super fight going down at Madison Square Garden, and this is Jack Della Maddalena's first title defense. On Instagram last week, I said that Jack was going to win. But now I think about it more. I did an episode of my podcast with Paul Felder. And the more I thought about it, the more I started to think that Islam wins this fight. You cannot underestimate what he did. And granted, yeah, okay, he's got wins over Volk, as I said, Renato Moicano, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. They're amazing wins. Before that, it's Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises. That's going to be the main event next week, by the way, in Qatar. I will be there at that one. Drew Dober before that, Davey Harmish, Arman Sarukian, okay? The man's been in there with some of the very best. Other than that one loss where he got clipped off Adriano Martins, has found a way to win, okay? And I think that's what he'll do here. Jack Della Maddalena, I love this guy. He's a big guy. He's a strong welterweight. He's got good takedown defense. He's got beautiful boxing. But I just don't think it's his time. This is a super fight. The magnitude of the event will play a factor on this. It's a huge fight. There's a massive amount of media attention on this matchup as well. It is a true super fight because Islam Makhachev is daring to be great and join the GOAT by becoming a 2-weight division champion. Will he do that? Will he join that very short list of fighters that were able to become double champs? I say yes. I think he beats Jack Della Maddalena. I think he finds a submission towards the end of the fight because that is what he does. That is the way that he is. He's bulked up. He's bigger. He's got more muscle. He's taking creatine for the first time in his life. He's eating the finest foods. He's got the best nutrition and he's got the best mentor in Habib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't. You need help? Come get help.
I say Islam goes out there. Jack's going to keep him honest. Jack's going to make it tough. He's going to make Islam work. But ultimately, Islam Makhachev will walk away as the welterweight champion of the world, much to the commiseration of all the other people in the welterweight division, because they're all praying for Jack to win, and I might be wrong. But if I am, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think about all of my picks, please. Subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you for watching. I'll be doing a couple of lives this week as well. I'll do a live on Saturday for the fight night, and I'm probably going to do a live alongside the press conference on Thursday as well. So check out that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. See you soon.